Shut up and sit down.
Hello Internet surfers and welcome to the effing news, bringing you the best articles of Internet with factual and independent analysis. On this segment, the headline of shtfplan.com by Max Slavo says, "Is this the coup in America? US troops on Russian border to start war before inauguration." Is there a coup underway while America is in the transition period and before Trump swears in as the 45th President of the United States? How real is the clash between the rogue Manhattan billionaire and the intelligence gang behind the throne? Who will win the struggle for power over foreign policy? These are serious times and require serious considerations. The US sent an entire armored brigade to the Russian border, and Vladimir Putin is preparing as if for war. Missile defense systems are raised. Tall claims and serious charges have been leveled. Diplomatic relations have chilled to permafrost. Several Russian diplomats have turned up dead recently, including one murdered in front of cameras during a dramatic assassination in Turkey. Russia has backed US order in the Middle East and carved out a potential peace deal in Syria without their consultation. Things are reaching a flashpoint, and the system is concerned about controlling President-elect Trump given his rumored friendliness with Putin and plans to drop sanctions. Will there be a shock designated to correct Trump's foreign policy and set off the ticking time bomb between East and West into all-out hostilities? Though these two world powers have clashed repeatedly in recent years, there are several key factors that makes this round extra alarming and puts a peaceful transition into question of exploding into total war and an undermining force from within the deep state, CIA and shadow government. 1. Until Donald Trump swears in and settles into the White House, the US remains in a strange air, with an open window for a coup to take place, or major unforeseen disruption including something like a terrorist attack. If the deep state wants to start a war, which President Trump will be forced to finish, they can. If the deep state wants that same war to block Trump from taking power or from making major decisions, they will. 2. With claims that Russia hacked the US election, foreign policy has never been more warlike. Despite lacking evidence and a politically heavy spin on events, the powers that be intend to drive home that narrative that Putin crossed the line, while Trump is his puppet, and the alternative media his mesmerized fake news cheerleaders. This narrative is false, but could fan the flames for war. The new Cold War has been solidified. The aggressive rhetoric in Washington and highly militarized movements, such something big is coming down the pipeline. Though there may not be all-out war, tensions will be very high. People will be placed under suspicion. Nuclear war and other highly deadly scenarios are on the table like never before. The stage is set for World War III. 3. Leftists and angry Hillary supporters are revolutionary, if severely misguided. Rosie O'Donnell was only the latest celebrity figure to call for martial law in order to postpone the inauguration and put Trump on trial. The deep state crew that tags along with Hillary are also quite dangerous, the CIA and shadow advisors types. It is possible that some of these figures are involved in assassinating diplomats, chauffeurs and personal aides close to Putin and his network. 4. In his final week in office, lame duck Obama could lay an egg that hatches the war, or intelligence community figures could go rogue. Black Ops, a false flag or a successful provocation, antagonization event could trigger a massive kickoff to war that no president could simply stop with the stroke of a pen. There is a distinct possibility that if things go hot in a very short span of time, national emergency and outright war will put all other considerations behind them. Gear up for major conflict could be the only way to reset the devastating economic conditions and the dead bomb that the federal government and Federal Reserve are prepared to drop on us. 5. Defensive measures, including setting up anti-missile defense shields, has moved inward, encircling Moscow, and those being used in the Ukraine, in Syria and elsewhere among the grand chessboard suggest extremely pugnacious diplomatic gestures, since truce diplomacy has frozen up after repeated insults from Washington. Via the Daily Mail, Russia has deployed anti-aircraft missile systems around Moscow to protect the capital from attack in the latest sign Vladimir Putin is preparing for war. The S-400 Triumph air defense system has been providing air cover for Russian forces in Syria since November and is now being deployed on home soil. It is capable of hitting moving airborne targets including planes and incoming missiles and has a range of 400 kilometers. The news has emerged the day the US sent more than 3,000 troops to Poland in response to NATO's concern Russia was becoming more aggressive. Via Russia Insider, a US Armored Brigade, 3rd Armored Brigade, 4th Infantry Division, is on the move to Russia's Baltic borders. After its equipment began arriving in Europe last week, so now have its soldiers. The move is so big it will require 37 trains and over 1,000 rail cars to transport from Germany to Poland. A US Armored Brigade fields over 400 trucks and over 1,300 wheeled vehicles including 80 62-ton Abrams tank, 140 Bradley armored fighting vehicles and 400 Humvees. There is always saber-rattling and hyperbolic claims of war, but right now is the critical time that will decide the next several decades of US world power. Probably they aren't going to take any chances, and as desperate as they are looking to reignite public support for US struggles abroad by any means necessary. Beware these next few weeks, and remember that the continuity of government quote-unquote doomsday command and control planes were brought out after the election as a public show of power to Trump and the American people. The shadow government is real, and for now maintain dominance. As per the aviationist in his Twitter page, mysterious plane circling over Denver was just an E-6B Mercury quote-unquote doomsday plane. This is not the time for games. Constitutional government is in jeopardy. War provocations and assassinations are taking place, and the duly elected next president of the United States should be very carefully protected, watched over and pray for a peaceful transition. We are at risk of entering a very difficult and dangerous time. Thank you for watching, and if you found this video helpful, share it and subscribe, or ideally both. This is Two Shots for the Effing News, where integrity and facts matter. Take care and see you next time.